Oh, ignore the mask. I'm just making Thai green curry. We'll begin by pressing out our tofu. By pressing out our tofu here, we're making it so that later on it's going to be much better at absorbing flavor. And it should also get a better sear. To press it out, I'm going to use this little makeshift system here where we'll put a plate on the bottom, then add on a towel that'll absorb some of the moisture, and then I'll arrange all of my cubes. It is actually important to spread them out evenly here so they can sustain the weight of what we're going to put on top to press them down. Then we'll cover them with another towel, then another plate, and then finally grab something heavy like a cast iron pan and throw that right on top. While we go to some of our other steps, that's going to sit there and just start to slowly press the water out. I'm going to set that right here. Next, let's brine our eggplants. These little guys are Thai eggplants. They can be a little bit tricky to find, so if you want to, you can use a Japanese eggplant or a purple eggplant, but I was lucky enough to find myself some of these. To prep these, I'm going to pull off all the stems, then chop all of them in half, and then I'll add a bit of salt to a bowl, then top it off with a bit of boiling water, and after stirring to dissolve the salt, I'll add in my eggplant and top it off with some cold water to make sure they're fully submerged. This step here helps to cut down the bitterness of the eggplant and also helps it to stay nice and firm after cooking. As a last step, I'm then going to add this bowl in so that all the eggplants are fully submerged, and by the time we're ready to cook these later, they should be much less bitter in flavor. While our tofu and eggplant are hanging out back there, we're going to move on to the heart of the Thai green curry, which is the paste. This is the core and foundation of the entire dish, and it has quite a few ingredients, but it's not all that difficult to make. All we do is start by toasting off some cumin and coriander, and we're doing what's called dry toasting, which means there's no oil in the pan. The goal here is to wake up these spices. We want to bring out all their natural oils, and we really only need to toast for a few seconds. Once things start to smell really warm and the spices seem to be opening up, you can bring them right on over to your mortar and pestle and drop them in. This here is a traditional Thai clay mortar and pestle. I just got back from Thailand for the first time, and this is how paste would traditionally be made there. To this, we're also going to add in a few white peppercorns, and now we're going to start grinding these up. This is the base of our curry paste. It's going to be spicy, citrusy, maybe a little bit earthy. Now is when things start to smell amazing, and the best part of all is it only gets better from here. This is where things are going to get spicy. I'll start by placing down an extra cutting board right above my normal cutting board, and for this part I'm also going to toss on not one but 2 pairs of rubber gloves. There's something that can happen when you touch peppers with your fingers called jalapeno hands, and it is one of the most uncomfortable things ever, so it's worth putting on some gloves. We're using 2 types of chilies. First, we have these serrano peppers. These peppers here have a zesty and citrusy flavor to them. Our second chilies are Thai green chilies. In terms of flavor, these are fruity, but it can also pack a lot of heat. I'm going to start by slicing off all the stems, and then I'm going to slice some of them in half to remove the seeds. This is going to help to cut down on the amount of spice that's in our dish. We want our Thai green curry to be spicy, not lethal. I can handle some spice, but I just don't want it to get out of hand. And as for these, I'll use a spoon to scrape out the insides, and after one more quick rough chop, I'll add these to the pestle too. Be so careful when you clean up here. Do not touch your eyes. Do not touch anything. Getting rid of that knife, gotta wipe this down. And now you can even use a wet towel if you want to make sure that this doesn't move around too much while you're grinding these up. And I'm even gonna toss on a pair of glasses. And don't make fun of me, this is no joke. If you get some of this in your eye, it's gonna ruin a lot more than just your day. The last thing I'll do here before I grind again is add in some salt, which is gonna pull moisture from the chilies and help it turn into more of a paste. And then we can grind again. As we pound up these chilies, things are gonna happen in multiple stages. First, you'll see things kind of start to separate into this green mush. But then, as the insides of those chilies all break apart, you'll start to see a lot of that bright green skin. And that's part of what's gonna give us that beautiful green color in our final curry. I'll be really honest with you in saying that this is a long and tiring process, but it also makes you really appreciate Thai green curry. A piece of it hit my lip and it's really spicy. I should have worn a full face shield. I think I have a face shield. What are you looking at? Now we grab our Thai basil. The easiest way to tell Thai basil apart from regular basil are these beautiful purple stems right here. It's almost got a little bit of a licorice taste to it, and it's got kind of a mild peppery smell. I'm gonna stack all these leaves on top of each other just so I can chop them up easily. Once you've stacked it, you just roll it up like this, and then slice it all up and toss it right into that pestle as well. With that, I'm also gonna add this leaf. This is called a makrut lime leaf. Traditionally, in Thai cuisine, they'd use the zest of a makrut lime. Because this one's a lot easier to find and does have such a similar flavor, it's a really good alternative. It's a little bit difficult to describe the smell of this, but it's not like a normal lime. To me, this is the #1 best smelling ingredient of anything that we're using today. It's sweet and citrusy and a little bit floral. It honestly reminds me of the smell if you combine the pearls from boba tea and lime. Try to picture that. And now, unfortunately, the goggles are coming back on because we are grinding again. Luckily, this time we don't have to grind for quite as long. It's a lot easier to break these little bits up, but the best way I can describe this part is this is what's gonna make the green curry taste like green curry. Since these pieces are so thin, it's helpful now to start scraping down the sides of your pestle. You wanna make sure everything is constantly being added back in and incorporated, and that nothing is getting lost up on the sides. And this is when my arm's starting to get really tired. My best suggestion to make this easier if you're doing this from scratch is to switch back and forth between your hands. That definitely helps, but the reality is if you made a proper paste, your arms and hands are gonna be burning at the end. Our curry's now gonna be looking greener and greener, and now we can move on to the next step. The next ingredient, this is a really cool one, is called galangal. It looks a lot like ginger, but it's more citrusy and it's gonna warm up our curry paste. I'm gonna trim off a nice chunk. I'm already dreading grinding this one up. It's very hard and fibrous. And just like with ginger, I'm gonna give it a quick peel with a spoon. Wow, it smells a little bit like the dentist's office. My dentist specifically. I'm gonna chop this up as thin as I possibly can. The more you chop it up now, the easier it'll be for you later when you toss it into the pestle. It's so strong that I grabbed a sharper knife. I'm really gonna break this down as much as I can here. The craziest part about this whole paste making process is we're only gonna end up using just a little bit of it. That tiny little thing can pack so much incredible flavor. Once I've minced this up as fine as I can, I'll add this in, and yes, you guessed it again, we're back, but not without these. Knowing how hard it is, I really need to get in there to make sure it mashes up. Oh, it's spicy. Wow, that piece went right into my mouth. It's spicy. I'm really happy tasting that with how many seeds I took out. It's the right amount of kick, and it's not too crazy, but it's hot. It's starting to smell amazing in here. And I'll move on now to the next ingredients. First, cilantro stems. Might sound kind of funny that we're using the stems instead of the actual leaves, but those are packed with so much amazing cilantro flavor. I'm gonna pick off any of those extra leaves, give them a nice rough chop and toss those in. And then we need our lemongrass. Lemongrass tea is my favorite tea in the world. Chop off the end here. We're trying to get to that beautiful white and purple core in the center. This is the part that we're gonna use. I'll save the rest for tea. Same thing with both of these. That outer layer is just too hard and rough for us to be able to use in this recipe. I'm gonna chop it up into these nice rings and toss that in along with the cilantro stems. Let's add our last set of ingredients now. First, we have a shallot, which I'm gonna chop up nice and fine. This one's a little bit easier to pound up with the rest of our ingredients, so I don't need to go too crazy on the chopping here. Once that's good, here we go. And then our garlic. I'll give this a quick, simple rough chop and then toss that in. And finally, our last ingredient in this curry paste is white miso. And then we're ready for the final mix. I've graduated from the gloves. By now, it should have mellowed out a little bit too. It's not so heavily concentrated with those chilies. Though it may not sound like it, these ingredients are gonna give us our depth and sweetness. And now, I'll just grind until I get a nice smooth paste. I've been going at this now for about 45 minutes, and you can go up to an hour to get it really nice and smooth. But at this point, it's up to you where you wanna finish. For me, once it looks something like this, I'm happy. We can move on now to making our rice. And for the rice, we're gonna be using jasmine rice. First, we're gonna rinse it off. We do this step to remove all the dust and whatever else may be sticking to our rice after traveling here. And the reason we're specifically using jasmine rice is because the fragrance of this rice matches curry. Jasmine rice is naturally really aromatic and has this kind of floral scent to it. So when you then think about all the ingredients that we just added to our paste, these two work really well together. As always, I'm gonna cook my rice in a rice cooker, and I'll start by draining off my rice and tossing that in. Then I'll cover up the rice with some water, with enough that when I stick my pinky in there, it goes right up to that first line. We'll move this back here, and this will cook while we make our curry. I love that song. While our rice is cooking, we'll move on to our tofu. By now, it's been heavily pressed. They are visibly a lot more squished down than those cubes that they were about an hour ago. And then, to a nice hot pan, I'll add a bit of oil. I'm adding enough where there's a full coating across the bottom. Most people, I feel like, don't add enough oil when they're trying to sear something. And when it starts to shimmer, I'll lay down my tofu away from me. We're looking for a golden brown crust on either side. Make sure you leave a little bit of space between all of them so that they don't steam each other. We want them nice and crispy. The reason it's so important that we give our tofu a nice sear before moving on to making our curry is because without a crust on either side, that tofu is just gonna fall apart. And what this does, aside from giving it that nice crispy texture and look, is firm it up enough so that it can hold its shape in there while still acting like a sponge for our sauce. By now, they're ready to start flipping over. I was really patient on that first side to give them a beautiful hard crust. I'm giving it that same care that I would give to a beautiful steak. I don't want to overcook them and dry them out too much, so I'm going to kill my heat, and then I'm just going to transfer them over to my tofu plate with a paper towel so they can drain off some of that extra oil instead of absorbing any of it. To make the curry, I'm going to start by opening up a can of coconut milk, but don't be shaking this coconut milk around because we want what's on the top. I'll start by scooping the top third of my coconut milk into a wok. We just just want that super creamy top part, and you'll see why in just a moment. We'll start by bringing this cream to a simmer until the water and the fat separate. This is a really classic Thai technique that allows you to make the curry without adding any extra oil. There's plenty of oil in this coconut cream already, and we're gonna unlock that right now. We have to do this nice and slow so that our coconut oil doesn't brown, and as you go, you wanna constantly scrape down the side so that nothing sits there for too long. You'll be able to tell when the split is happening based on the sound. All of a sudden, you're gonna see all these bubbles and you're gonna hear this light sizzling crackle of oil. It may start to look a little weird, but once it makes a clear separation between fat and oil, we can add in a few scoops of our beautiful green curry paste. That was an hour of work right there. Once our curry's in, we wanna stir it around for just a couple of minutes. And now I've brought my burner up to about medium heat. Things are going to smell amazing here. If you think your house smells good when you're baking a fresh batch of cookies or when you saute some garlic and some butter, this is that times 10. Oh, our rice. It means I gotta hurry up on my curry. I'm gonna add in now my eggplant, and after a quick stir, I'll add in the rest of my coconut milk, as well as a cup of water, which I'm gonna use to swirl around that can to get every bit of flavor out. And once I give this a quick mix to make sure everything's fully combined, I'm gonna set my heat now to medium-low. While that cooks for a little bit, I'm gonna move over here and chop up the rest of my ingredients. First, bell pepper. You can use whatever colored bell pepper you want, but I'm using a red one since I think it's gonna round out the color of our Thai green curry. Color is one of those things that's so incredibly important for visuals when it comes to cooking. Even just a simple choice like picking a red bell pepper instead of a green one can make such a big difference for someone eating it. Next, I'm gonna chop up this right here. This is palm sugar. It's a very commonly used sugar in Thai cuisine, and all we need to do is give it a rough chop so that it dissolves when we go to add it to our curry. Once that's done, we can move back over to our sauce. Can't forget my tofu. And I'm gonna drop in all of that nice crispy tofu. And right away, it's gonna start soaking up our sauce. Oh yeah. What a great consistency. We'll let this simmer for about 10 minutes for the tofu to soak up all that flavor, at which point we're gonna add in some of these macroot lime leaves. These you'll wanna keep whole, but we can rough them up a little bit, basically bruising them so that they release more flavor. This is a great part of the recipe to take out as much anger as you need to take out. Or if you've been cooking for about an hour and a half like I have, you might just be hangry. And to finish up our curry, I'll add in my red bell peppers, some really cute baby corn, some of my palm sugar. I'm not gonna add all of it yet because I wanna taste it first. I don't want this to be a dessert. A few snow peas, some of these bamboo shoots, and then some coconut aminos or fish sauce. That's where we're gonna get some of that funky umami flavor. I'll stir this up one last time now to make sure everything is fully combined, evenly mixed, and to give some of those vegetables a chance to just soften even a tiny bit. And then we'll turn off the heat and add in a few Thai basil leaves. Those will soak their flavor into the curry in these last few moments here, and we're finally ready to eat. For plating, I'll bring in my rice. Jasmine rice smells the best of any rice. I'm gonna scoop some into the corner of my bowl. Now comes the main event, the green curry itself, all around my rice. And to finish it off, I'm gonna chop up a red chili, then a nice big lime wedge, and optionally, a few extra spots of that coconut cream. I'm even gonna add a little bit into my rice to give some of that coconut sticky rice kind of taste. And that is how we make Thai green curry. I'll be honest, next time I might just buy the paste.